Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Opinion Piece, the show where I give my unfiltered, unscripted opinions on a gaming related topic. Today's topic. So, the other day, a few days ago, an analyst from the Wall Street Journal basically came out and said that Nintendo is gearing up to release two new models of the Nintendo Switch, and then out of nowhere, not long after that, an alleged insider source basically backed up the validity of this, and now it's basically stirring up a shitstorm of hype trains and speculation and all of that usual, typical stuff with things like this. And my whole stance on this is I call bullshit. Um, and the simple reason as to why is the fact that there's no evidence, there's really no leaks, evidence, or really anything to confirm that this is a reality, to confirm that this is what's fucking going on. That this is basically just some people just coming forward and saying that this is what's happening, but there's really nothing to go off of here to confirm that this is real. Now, I'm going to refer to the refer to the article posted by Eurogamer. I'll leave a link to it in the description. From their source, basically saying that these alleged systems are basically going to be following the sort of kind of business approach Nintendo did with the Nintendo 3DS when they came out with the Nintendo 2DS and 3DS XL respectively. Basically, one is going to be supposed to be a more budget friendly version of the system, kind of aimed at the more casual audience, whereas the the claimed beefier, more enhanced version is supposed to be aimed at the more hardcore gamer audience, which sound like cool ideas on paper, but there's really nothing to go off of to confirm that these are real. I mean, if I'm looking at this, I'm gonna try to look at this from two different lenses. On one hand, let me look at this from kind of the business side of things, where, okay, one, this doesn't really seem to make make a whole lot of sense, financially for Nintendo, because something to think about is the Nintendo Switch is has been still consistently selling gangbusters, since since its debut in early 2017. This has been a system that broke all kinds of records and all kinds of ground, and has been a huge financial win for Nintendo on a very consistent basis since it launched. And though I imagine the sales have slowed down. I don't really keep up with the numbers because that's something I don't really care about too much. And though the numbers have probably slowed down a little bit, and Nintendo is keen on maintaining them or making sure they're bigger, or want to meet up with this hypothetical dream of putting a Nintendo Switch in the hand of every possible person they can, if I'm remembering that quote somewhat accurately. But the thing is, pretty much almost everybody as far as I can tell, almost everybody and their mother already owns a Nintendo Switch, whether they have one for themselves, it's for family, etc. The Nintendo Switch is a very accessible platform, and a lot of people have already hopped on board already. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense financially to invest in creating seemingly drastically different models just to increase the accessibility to put it in the hands of more consumers. It just does not make sense to approach that. That approach made complete sense for the Nintendo 3DS because it was a struggling system when it first launched, and it took a long time for it to become, a bit of a bankable platform. And I honestly thought and even back in the day, I thought the idea of the 2DS was a genius concept because, for me personally, I'm not a fan of 3D gaming. I just don't. My eyes just cannot process those kinds of images. It just makes playing those kinds of games really difficult for me. So when they announced a more affordable alternative that would allow me to enjoy those games but without the ridiculous 3D, I was all over that shit. Hell, even in more recent time, I scooped up a Nintendo 2DS XL as my current dominant handheld, dedicated handheld gaming system, just because I love the idea so much, and just because I love playing 3DS games, but not having to use fucking 3D for them. It's a wonderful thing. But that's in a concept that makes sense. And then, but with this, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense financially to create two different versions of a system to make it more accessible and put it in the hands of more people, creating this, as the article puts it, this more downgraded system, budget friendly downgraded system to make it kid proof, more durable, or whatever, doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's already a more durable system, and I can already think of all kinds of kids who probably have their hands on these systems and are probably taking already acceptable care of them, and there's already a ton of different accessories on the market to kind of, cases, protective shells, etc., all those different kinds of things to make sure that these very expensive systems are, well protected when you have your young kids using them, wherever the fuck they, decide to use them. And then I can understand the idea of doing a more beefed up version of the system, but the thing is the tech specs are already, they are what they are, and already a lot of major third-party titles are already coming to the system. You have Bethesda, who's already a huge supporter and already have, a dedicated developer doing ports of, they already did doing ports of like Doom, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, and upcoming they're going to be doing the port of Doom Eternal. And even then, it was just announced today that they're going to be doing a port of the new Wolfenstein game, that cooperative story-driven spin-off, is also going to be coming to Nintendo Switch. I imagine it's going to be in the hands of the same people. So you have these big third-party titles from just this one company coming to this system and making do with the hardware that's available on this platform. So doing a beefed-up version just doesn't make a whole lot of sense when people are already willing to accommodate the system as it is, because of just how many people have them and how many people use them. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me from that standpoint. But on the other hand, going back to the whole idea of just no evidence or anything to go off of, I'm gonna use do you remember back when the Nintendo Switch was on the verge of coming out, or I believe it was still kind of in the dev process? Do you remember when there was still buzz going around that Nintendo was going to be incorporating VR into this mystery platform or something, and a whole bunch of leaked documents surfaced online showcasing that they had documents and patents in place for VR related concepts under their brand? The thing about those is nothing really ever materialized when the system launched, until recently when Nintendo announced that they would be doing VR-themed products in their Nintendo Labo line. Now, I understand that these are not one and the same, but I feel like it's not that much of a stretch to believe that what originally could have been Nintendo trying to incorporate VR into their current platform may have not worked, but may have evolved and materialized into what we're getting now, with Nintendo Labo being as successful as it is, and them wanting to create these VR-inspired product in this successful brand to kind of create a nice compromise of a middle ground for consumers. But I think my point there is the fact that at least even with something like VR on a Nintendo platform, at least there were some documents and some some information, some physical information that you could look at to back up the idea that they had something in place for that. And if I'm winding the clocks back even further, let's look at, something big, much larger, like the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro respectively. I mean, those were really ambitious ideas back in the day. I remember, just scrolling through online and, buzz was going around that, PlayStation is designing a new allegedly more beefier, more powerful version of the PlayStation 4, which I thought was crazy until, these rumors of it's called Project Morpheus, it's going to have all these alleged tech specs and some stuff, and, some actual information, some valid information and documents and whatnot were actually, leaking online to confirm that this was happening. And then sure enough, PlayStation 4 Pro got announced, and, it was fucking real. It happened. It was fucking real. And then in the case of the Xbox One X, you had the same thing where, there's some buzz that they're doing the same thing, and then you have the buzz, and then it's it's going to be called, Project Scorpio and stuff like that, and then outright, and then at E3, 1 year, Xbox just fucking confirmed, yes, Project Scorpio is a thing. We're designing it. It's we're making it. It's going to be a more powerful version of the Xbox One, and you'll get to use it. And then a year later, then we got to see the Xbox One X, and it hit the market. The thing is, there was actually some physical there was some physical information you could actually fucking look at to at least confirm that this isn't just bullshit. This wasn't just rumors and speculation. These were actually, there was a very huge chance that these were actually real and that they were actually going to be, that they were happening. in this case, it's basically just, oh, one analyst is saying that Nintendo is doing this, and then another person from allegedly on the inside is saying, oh, they're doing this, but nothing is being upfront, like nothing upfront is being provided to prove that this is what they're doing, that this is what's happening, and we've got nothing to fucking go off of here. And yet everyone is just losing their goddamn minds and just going like, holy shit, this is happening. Like, I can't wait to see. It's like, I can't wait. It's like, we need to see this. We need more information and everything like that. And like, just calm the fuck down. Like, it's one of the, it's like, I'll see it when I believe it. And until then, stop stirring the pot. Just stop stirring the pot. Just show me something first. Show me something real and conclusive. And that's all I really want to see. I just want to see something that, just really proves it. Not just a bunch of just a bunch of speculative talk and inside and just basically insider talk. Like, I want to see it's like I want to see something real before I believe something so interesting yet so most likely unbelievable, like unreal. Just, that's really the gist of it. Like, I maybe sound like a bit of a Debbie Downer, but I just don't fucking see it. I just personally don't fucking see it. So, who the hell knows? But anyway, what do you, the audience, think? Do you think I don't know, am I being an asshole? Am I full of shit here? Do you think that that Nintendo is cooking up 2 new models of the Nintendo Switch that are supposed to hit later this year? Post those thoughts in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. Who knows what conclusions we can come to, like, about this. But anyway, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and take care.